So where do contractors get burned? We just mentioned timelines, right? Be very careful with your timelines. If you're in the middle of a job and let's say you're waiting for a delayed delivery and you need that to progress the job and your supplier says, I'll have it to you Wednesday. It's the supplier says, I'll have it to you there by Wednesday. I might be able to get it to you by Tuesday. So many people, they'll make the phone call to the customer and go, hey, great news. It'll be in on Tuesday, maybe Wednesday. Well, what if it's Thursday? Now you look like a jerk. I always stack a little bit of time and say, look, we're looking at Thursday. We might see it Wednesday. And guess what? I'm expecting it Wednesday. It comes in and look like a hero. It's all about managing expectations. You don't want to have to go back to the customer with another delay, right, if you have other options. So where do guys get burned? Underestimating the job complexity. What are some of the things, aside from materials and labor, that a remodeler should be considering for costs, for putting together a price? Come on, you guys do this. What else besides materials and labor would you have to factor when you're putting a quote together?
The client, how difficult it is to manage.
Absolutely. I've added a pain in the ass tax. Anybody else?
Unfamiliar materials.
Could be, absolutely. How about equipment for that job? Look, this is Colorado. Where I come from, everything is flat. Right? There were no graded lots. There were no walkout basements. There were no basements. Basements in Florida we call in-ground swimming pools. So everything is slab on grade in Florida, relatively easy, right? So here you got basements, you have topography. What if to execute this guy's job you need, because the lot's so difficult, the only way to get the material to the back of the house is with a crane? Is that not real world? What if you need a low? What if a guy has got an old house in, old Denver and he's popping the top, plans are done, and you're going vertical and there's a big vaulted ceiling and you need a scissor lift, for the drywall. I know you're subbing it out, but I'm making a point, right? Make sure that you're capturing anything and everything that has to go, right? Guys that go, it's this, and they do it fast and they forget, I'm going to need a piece of equipment. That's going to eat into your margin pretty quickly, isn't it? And again, I don't want to get too deep into estimating, but my messaging here is you've got to look beyond just materials and labor. What else do I have to spend money on to deliver for this customer, right? So be careful. Again, ignoring hidden conditions. We're going to talk about this a lot today. It's come up a few times already. It's one of the single biggest ways that a remodeler gets crushed. In a nutshell, if I'm going to remodel somebody's kitchen and they want that wall moved here and the refrigerator slid there, right? Very common. But you're assuming that wall we're looking at, for example, is structural. But then you open it up and you find out not only are there only 4 2-bys in there for the whole 8-foot wall, the wiring is substandard, there's water damage. You see where I'm going with this? It goes on and on. You've got to account for hidden conditions in your contracts. Any remodeler that takes on a homeowner's project without a concealed condition clause, in my opinion, is foolish and begging to get crushed. You will lose every single time. And the last thing that, in my opinion, that I've witnessed, if you don't properly document your changes, and we're going to talk a bit more about scope of work, change orders, things of that nature. The thing that I hate about, I'll share with you guys candidly, I hate remodeling because of paperwork. I'm a salesman. Anybody else in here call themselves a salesman? Okay. Do you like paperwork? I don't know what it is. Every salesperson hates to do paperwork. It's in our DNA. So I avoid it at all costs, right? But in the world of remodeling, it's a non-negotiable. It's a must. Because your exposure without documenting is so great that you just have to. I mean, it's playing Russian roulette if you go to contract, right? And you're not capturing this. So you've got to document every change. And by the way, we're going to talk more about change orders, but just before I forget, change orders should include what? What are some things change orders should include?
Time and material.
Time and material, depending on the contract type, but yes, what are we changing to, what are we adding, what are we deleting, what are we changing, right? The scope of work. If you're changing a model faucet to a different model, you've got to capture that. What else?
Signature.
Awesome. There's one key thing you're forgetting. Money. Every change order's got to capture the dollars. So for example, I'm making easy math. If the original contract was 10 grand, I know you're not getting out of bed for 10 grand. If the original contract was for 10 grand, and it's a $500 change, and they've already paid you a total of $3, the change order should reflect $10,000 contract, $3,000 received to date, $7,000 balance forward, change order is $500, and it's now a $7,500 balance due on every single change order. What happens a couple months go by and the homeowner's like, oh, well, I didn't know that. Oh, well, I didn't know. Oh, well, that really, oh, I didn't think that would. And it's all bad. Documentation takes emotion out of the game, and that's why I beg you to document everything. You take the he said, she said out of it, because here's the problem. When there's a verbal argument, who wins? The homeowner. How often? Every single time. And that's the way I was with my builders. If it's not in writing, I lose every argument. So you make sure that everything is documented.